Hello and welcome to this year's Immigrant Entrepreneurs Summit. We're so excited to have this event on a virtual platform, and we're happy that you can attend with us to celebrate this year's award winners. My name is Janae Town and I'm with WHO 13, and I'm so pleased to participate in the summit again this year. I've served as the MC for the IES Awards ceremony for several years now, and I'm always moved by the stories that I hear of our award recipients. They are truly inspirational, and I hope you too will be inspired and motivated by their lives and work. The mission of the Immigrant Entrepreneurs Summit is to bring businesses of diverse backgrounds together to share, learn, and celebrate the immigrant entrepreneurship experience and contribution to the overall community. The summit will exhibit the success stories of immigrant entrepreneurs, create understanding among different ethnic groups, share business growth tips among immigrant business owners, and the keys to success by working with immigrant populations are shared in a creative, competitive, and supportive environment. We want to thank our sponsors this year who have helped ensure that this event continues to take place during this very difficult time. So a huge thank you to our top supporters, our Galaxy sponsors, Wells Fargo and Community CPA. Your consistent support year after year has been crucial. We also want to thank our solar system sponsor, US Bank. We are so appreciative for your support. And thanks to Bright Sun sponsor Amora Productions, Iowa Economic Development Authority, and Taro International. We do also want to thank our shooting star sponsors, Bankers Trust, Polk County, Dr. Richard Deming, Mid-American Energy, and Diversity Insurance, Lorena and Lolay. Lastly, we want to thank our other supporters, donors, exhibitors, and those who volunteered their time and experience to educate and support new business development. In the next hour, we will be honoring 4 amazing individuals in 3 categories. As you hear about their journeys and contributions, you will see that we are here not just to celebrate them, but to be inspired by them. Now, without further delay, let's begin. The first award to be given this year is the Outstanding Immigrant Business Award. The Outstanding Immigrant Business Award recognizes a business that is held by a first-generation immigrant. The business serves as a model and inspiration of success in both profits and philanthropy. The awarded business utilizes strategies that carry a mission of community investment and civic engagement while providing a healthy profit margin. Presenting the award is Wells Fargo. I'm pleased to welcome Semsa Didic to present and congratulate the recipients of the Outstanding Immigrant Business Award.
Good afternoon. My name is Semsa Didic. I'm a branch manager with Wells Fargo at our West Des Moines location. Wells Fargo is a proud sponsor for IES, and this 15th year to sponsor the wonderful event. We have been from the beginning of the establishment. We want you to know that we are committed to meeting the needs of immigrant entrepreneurs in our community. It's a vital component for our economy. COVID has caused business challenges for all of us, but especially difficult for small businesses. This is why Wells Fargo committed $400 million to a new Open to Business Fund. We will award these funds to nonprofits who serve small businesses, particularly businesses owned by unrepresented individuals, a group disproportionately affected by the pandemic, to provide need capital, offer technical support, and develop long-term resilience programs. We are proud to present this year's Outstanding Immigrant Business Award to Grand Consulting. Please enjoy the following video presentation on Grand Consulting and its own CEO, Igor Dobrosavovich. As you watch their history and acceptance speech, please add your congratulations and warm wishes in the chat box. Congratulations once again to Grand Consulting for being a 2020 Outstanding Immigrant Business Award recipient.
Igor Dobrosavovich spent his childhood in 3 countries across 2 continents. Originally from the former Yugoslavia, his family moved from Bosnia to Germany when war broke out and moved to the United States 7 years later.
like, oh my God, I'm gonna be able to move to the United States, go to a United States high school, which I just followed through movies and TV shows and things like that. And so I rooted for coming here. And, believe it or not, my parents listened to me and decided to move us here.
Smart, earnest, and enthusiastic, Igor impressed a local entrepreneur, Greg Huey, who gave him his first job just 1 year after he moved to Des Moines.
I knew nothing when I started with him, but he was extremely kind and willing to teach me, and I was willing to learn, and it was extremely interesting and something I gravitated towards.
He continued to work there while attending college at Drake University and secured a full-time position with a former client when he graduated. After 4 years at that job, Igor decided to strike out on his own and start an IT services company called Grand Consulting.
Des Moines is a big small town. If you break somebody's trust, word goes around pretty quickly.
And his clientele has really included a lot of important businesses like lawyers and dentist offices, areas where it's critical that things work the way that they're supposed to, where they get the machinery that they need, and where they're able to enforce security practices the way that they're supposed to.
Always on the lookout for opportunities to collaborate with others and support the startup community, he's partnered with other businesses like BitMethod when he found synergy in their operations. With a belief that doing good and doing well can and should go hand in hand, he's always looking for ways to pay forward the many blessings in his life.
Maybe it was all the people along the way that treated me the way they did that imprinted on me unconsciously, and I just wanted to return that favor from Greg, who didn't have to hire a high school student that barely spoke any English, that had just moved to the United States, giving me a job and teaching me the things that I know and do today, to my professors at Drake, to just the community in general that accepted me when I moved here. It always felt like I needed to return that in some form or fashion in my own way. And so yeah, I wanted to make sure that all these people that put their stock and value in me and that believed in me, I didn't disappoint.
To that end, he coaches, trains, and nurtures an empowered team of professionals and works to transform his field in a positive direction. Igor aims to lift his work to its highest purpose by inspiring others in his field to risk more and judge less. One of his proudest accomplishments to date is the establishment of a State of Iowa IT Apprenticeship Program.
I tried to draw from my own experiences and realized that the system that we have in the United States to as a path to career is very exclusionary and very singular and not very accommodating. Pretty much it's high school, college, higher paying careers. There isn't really a different path or a path in between. So we set up, with the help of Technology Association of Iowa, we set up the first IT apprenticeship program here in Iowa. And shortly after, hired Ellick. He went through that 3-year program and currently is working on projects. Honestly, I don't know how we'd be able to handle today's workload without Ellick and everything that he's accomplished.
Being the first apprenticeship for the IT program means a lot. It gave me a foot into the field of IT. And throughout, working with Igor and Ty and learning the trade of IT, and also, having the opportunity to work with many different people, different clients, build the relationships with the clients. I really love that aspect of the IT. I'm grateful that Igor took a chance on me, and I want to work my best and make him proud for, picking me out of all other candidate. Maybe down the road I can, do that same thing that he did for me for someone else.
If the legacy is hundreds or thousands of people that got their start with Grand Consulting or an apprenticeship with us, 40, 50 years from now, that would make me extremely happy.
On top of running a thriving business with a reputation for technical excellence and commitment to community investment, Igor and his wife Susanna are raising 2 curious, caring, and gregarious children, Kalina and Costa, in an extended family that includes both sets of grandparents and a diverse network of friends.
They really are willing to say, we don't need every luxury or every convenience we can possibly have, or every safety we can possibly have. We want to extend ourselves a little bit so that the people in our lives feel like they're as much a part of our family as our family does. Something that's funny is that behind all of this, Igor has always hoped to build wealth. Like when he came to America, he was like, I'm gonna get rich. I'm gonna live the American dream. To watch how much he has put aside some of that ambition in order to be more generous, to be more caring, to be more inclusive in terms of the people that are in his life and in his business.
For his steadfast commitment to share experiences and resources to create access and opportunities for individuals from underrepresented communities, as well as his transformational approach that inspires and defines best practices in his industry, Igor Dobrosavovich, owner of Grand Consulting, is the recipient of the 2020 Outstanding Immigrant Business Award.
I wanted to thank the Immigrant Entrepreneurs Summit for this honor. It is truly an honor. I've prepared some thank you notes. I want to make sure that I don't forget anybody. So here we go. First and foremost, I want to thank my wife. You are my fiercest supporter, partner in crime, and have been by my side through thick and thin. I love you and our little family. I also want to thank my parents for the support they've given me throughout my life and for the opportunities they created for me and my brother. Sarah, Andrea, Halil, Zishan, Will, Jan, and Chris, thank you for waking up every day and deciding to help build Grand Consulting. Tej, thank you for always believing in me and supporting my work. The many people who've opened doors for me that might have otherwise stayed closed are too numerous to name. I'm constantly grateful for your help, even when I forget to say it. One thing I've learned as an entrepreneur is that there are many myths about success. Yes, hard work was part of my story, but many factors were beyond my control. I was fortunate to be born into a family with the means and opportunity to pursue college education. Fortunate to escape a civil war with my family relatively unharmed. Fortunate to enter an America that at the time still truly welcomed the tired and poor and huddled masses yearning to be free. Fortunate to never wonder if the color of my skin was something holding me back. I may be an immigrant with an inspiring success story, but I'll also never be able to measure how much of my success is owed to circumstances of birth and the systems in this nation that benefit white, straight, cis men. I don't have all the answers, but I do commit to doing my part to ensure that success stories like mine are truly accessible to everyone with a dream and an idea, even and especially if they don't look like me. I hope you'll join me in that commitment. And thank you to the Immigrant Entrepreneurs Summit again for this important work that you do.
Congratulations once again to Grand Consulting for being this year's Outstanding Immigrant Business. Igor, we wish you continued success in your business and in positively impacting the tech community. You are a well-deserved winner. Now, our next award is the Karen L. Evans Immigrant Champion Award. Beginning in 2012, the Immigrant Champion Award changed its name to the Karen L. Evans Immigrant Champion Award. Ms. Evans' earnest and personal commitment to assist individual immigrants epitomizes the legacy between Iowans and first-generation immigrants. This award recognizes an organization or non-immigrant who's dedicated to making a positive impact on the immigrant community. The award recipient demonstrates both a personal and professional commitment to and advocacy on behalf of immigrants and their families and communities. Presenting this award will be Ying Sa, CEO and Managing Partner of Community CPA. Welcome, Ying.
Hi everyone, this is Ying Sa from Community CPA, and we are here to celebrate the Immigrant Champion Award winner, John Zietler. And our firm is the sponsor for this award. Let me tell you why we want to sponsor this award. And in our firm's history, and we started with one person, that's me, Ying, and we started with one person, and we run a professional service company called Community CPA to help immigrant entrepreneurs. And here, Community CPA has that DNA in our organization. There's so many immigrant business owners. They have the ambition, they have the hardworking spirit, but what they don't have is the knowledge to operate the business here in United States of America. And what Immigrant Entrepreneurs Summit does is bring your dream to a place where logically regulation and requirement, tax code, and whatever you needed to become a real American business, we will bring you there. There's many John Zietlers out there and helping the immigrant business people to succeed. And here, this year, we recognize the accomplishment of John Zietler and recognize his contribution to the immigrant community. So with that, and I really like to welcome everyone to follow me to watch the video of John Zietler. And don't forget to comment on the side offering congratulations to him, and knowing that we're in a virtual world, but our spirit can be felt. And your congratulations on the screen will reside with John to encourage him to do better and do more and save more businesses and helping more immigrants. Thank you for coming to Immigrant Entrepreneurs Summit.
Pulled toward a higher calling from a young age, John Zietler was born, raised, and ordained in Pennsylvania, but made Iowa his home when he joined the pastoral team at Holy Trinity Catholic Church. Beginning in the 1970s, following Governor Robert Ray's magnanimous decision to welcome thousands of Southeast Asian refugees to Iowa, John has been key in the identification, organization, and provision of essential services to refugees and immigrants.
It's hard for people nowadays who don't have the memory of it to realize how welcoming Iowa was to immigrants in the 70s with the Governor Ray. Every little country church was sponsoring a family, and I remember trying to get jobs for immigrants. You just take them down to Mercy Hospital and they'd hire them, they'd find something. By and large, Iowa has done pretty well by its immigrants.
I always remember John by his smile and his beautiful blue eyes. And he's just had such a welcoming, warm personality.
During the farm crisis in the 1980s, John was a pastor in Ringgold County.
Fortunately, in Ringgold County, there was an amazingly active, effective ministerial association. I met Carmen when we were both pastors there. She was pastor of the Baptist church. And then, 10 years later, we got married. A long time.
In 1990, he went to Tanzania, where he would spend 5 years helping in small-scale development. After he returned to Des Moines, John worked as a mental health counselor at Broadlawns Hospital and picked up where he left off, helping immigrants and refugees.
John was that one kind person that just always came to our house, made sure that we had everything, drove us to all our doctor appointments, took us grocery shopping, actually school supply shopping, everything, like anything you can imagine a person who like a father or like a mother would do for their kids, John did for my brother and I for years. And I think he still continues to do that.
John's impact on immigrants and refugees whose lives he's touched is immeasurable. Their experiences of tragedy and triumphs have steeled his resolve and fed his soul for almost 5 decades, and he is far from done.
I happened to be at their home on multiple occasions when the phone rings and off he goes to help somebody.
With self-deprecating humility and genuine delight in their success, John wraps them up in his warmth to keep them safe from the hardships they have and would endure.
We were excited for school, but also nervous. But I remember just John waiting outside the door for my brother and I to get ready and eat our breakfast, and he walked us to the bus stop. And he continued to do that after then. Every day just walks to my house and walks my brother and I to the bus stop, even though the bus stop is like literally 1 minute or 2 minutes away from my house. And he still does that, and he sometimes walks to the bus stop and wait for my brother and I to come from school, and he walks us home. And he also made sure that my brother and I celebrated every birthday. Like, I don't want to get emotional, but like he just, they like just done a lot of stuff for my family.
His kind eyes, sparkling with understanding and compassion, evoke strong emotions of admiration, gratitude, and optimism.
It's very touching. From what I felt as a girl at that time, and with my mom, she was so has always talked about John, how of a wonderful man he is, and how he's always so kind and was always so helpful to us, to our family. So sometimes people don't realize the impact that they make, but they do.
He thinks himself as a servant, serving the needs of other people. So whether it's hosting international visitors, and they've hosted dozens and dozens of international visitors from all over the world, or finding a cell phone for somebody who needs it, or a car for somebody who needs it, or a better apartment for someone who needs it. He's just on the go and willing to do all of those things.
He is definitely someone that I consider very important to me, someone that I look up to, and try every day at everything I do to be as kind and generous to others as John is to people. So we love John. I love John. He's great.
For living a modest yet meaningful life, punctuated by 1,000 acts of kindness, while rising to every occasion during consequential times to soothe, bolster, and protect immigrants and refugees in Iowa and beyond, John Zietler is the recipient of the 2020 Karen Evans Immigrant Champion Award.
To the National Immigrant Entrepreneurs Summit, I give my heartfelt thanks for the honor of my receiving this Karen L. Evans Immigrant Championship Award. Thank you very much. And I appreciate Catherine Tron and her work to bring these summits together. It's really necessary work nowadays, what with the economic uncertainty. Interestingly, 15% of the U.S. population are considered immigrants, but 30% of the entrepreneurs are immigrants. Quite a remarkable figure. One of the things about immigrant entrepreneurs is that they bring prosperity not only to their own communities and the immigrant community in general, but to the whole country. And not only in this generation, but for generations to come. For example, my grandfather's grandfather came to the United States in 1848, 172 years ago, from Bavaria. He came with his wife, his 2 sons, and their wives. He and one son went to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, and the son apprenticed himself to a saddle maker, leather worker, learned the trade, set up his own shop. The father, meanwhile, set up a dry goods store. They both prospered. And now you go to Punxsutawney, there's a street named after them. Their biographies are included in the local history books. Their monuments in the cemetery are massive, and their fine china is on display in the local museum. The other son, one who was a direct ancestor of mine, instead of being an entrepreneur, decided to go to the Pennsylvania coal fields. He went there and he dug coal the rest of his life. And his sons after him dug coal for the rest of their lives. One of those sons, my grandfather, died, and his son, my father, was halfway through 8th grade. My father had to quit school, and at age 14 went to work in the mines. And he worked manual labor the rest of his life. They should have all been entrepreneurs. I'd also like to thank the immigrants that I've had the privilege of working with. It's been such a joy and a privilege to share their lives. I'd like to thank Judy Conlon, who started the ELL program at Deer Ridge when she was director of the Iowa International Center. Thanks to Nick Wirtz of Lutheran Services in Iowa. Thanks to Judy Conlon, who set up Circles of Friends. Thanks to all the people at Embark. It's been such a privilege. Let me leave you with some well-earned wisdom from my father. He said, "You'll never make any money working for somebody else." Thank you.
Congratulations once again to John Zietler. John, thank you for your passion for creating a welcoming place for immigrants in Iowa. This last award is the Immigrant Spirit Award. The Immigrant Spirit Award recognizes a first-generation immigrant who has demonstrated a lifelong commitment to professional business excellence and altruistic pursuits. The recipient's accomplishments and contributions have brought a substantial positive impact on the immigrant and larger community. Presenting the award is Mike Ellick, Regional President for U.S. Bank.
Good afternoon. I am so very pleased to have been personally involved with the Immigrant Entrepreneurs Summit since its inception now more than 12 years ago. The summit continues to build great momentum year after year, and the stories of personal achievement, personal journeys leading to success are so very inspiring. U.S. Bank continues to support and be involved in the event because of those great stories and the businesses that have been created. They are compelling, and those businesses contribute to a much better community. It's so very easy for me to get up in the morning for my job after you witness the passion these great entrepreneurs have for their businesses, their families, and their communities. They are making a difference. It's also hard to ignore the impact of over 1,300 new businesses started by immigrants just like you, following participation in events like the summit. Small business is the backbone of our country and a key economic vitality to any community. Today is an opportunity to learn, to share, to nurture, and more importantly, to celebrate. We appreciate you letting us be a part of that celebration, and in that spirit, we are very proud to present this year's Immigrant Spirit Award to Q Chang and Peggy Law, owners of Hong Kong Supermarket. Please enjoy the following video about them, their store, and their work in the community. And as you watch their history and acceptance speech, please add your congratulations and warm wishes in that chat box. Congratulations once again to Q Chang and Peggy Law for being the 2020 Immigrant Entrepreneurs Summit Spirit Award recipients.
Born and raised in the Chinese suburb of Hanoi, Vietnam, Kieu Lee Cheng fled the country with her parents and siblings after the Vietnam War. They lived in transition for 2 years in refugee camps before arriving in San Francisco during Thanksgiving 1980.
We go there about 1 week with my uncle, and then we find some house to rent. About we go to school, apply to school 1-2 hours, and then we go to work.
2 years later, still unable to find full-time employment, Kiyu moved by herself to take a job at IBP in Sioux City, Iowa. Over the next decade, she met and married Paul Law and gave birth to their 3 children. Shortly after their 3rd child was born, Paul resigned from IBP to start a grocery business, while Kiyu kept her job to bring home a steady paycheck. She kept this grueling schedule for 2 years until the store yielded enough profit for her to leave IBP.
You have to be a pioneer, it's not a choice. And for Q, having to work so hard to save up the capital to be the grounder for this risk that they were about to take, that was her role in all this, and that's a very weighted responsibility.
Even though she was ambivalent about owning a business, when Paul decided to walk away from his family and leave their business in her hands, Kiyu met the moment thrust upon her with unassuming grace and enduring determination. Rushing out to meet each day, Peggy Law is the legacy of her father, who could not be there, and her mother, who always is. The oldest of 3 children, she inherited her father's entrepreneurial spirit and her mother's tremendous work ethic, fortitude, and generosity.
What I saw was a very supportive mother who was willing to take that journey with her to see, hey, let's see if that could be a new revenue stream. I'm going to trust my daughter. And I think that is a relationship that they had that is so solid, not just personally, but also on a business level.
Sometimes it's challenging, some days are good. You try not to make her mad because it makes the whole day bad. So always please your mom.
Together, Kiyu and Peggy brought about a new era for Hong Kong Supermarket as it evolved into a hub for community connection, resource sharing, and a place to feel welcomed and belong.
I wasn't born in Sioux City, but the moment I walk in there, I feel closer to my heritage. Just seeing the simple things of the products and the sights and sounds of other languages spoken in there, other dialects, I just feel more connected.
Passionate, generous, and decisive, Peggy is determined to reinvest in the Siouxland community that has supported their family's passionate embrace of the American dream.
Where I see Hong Kong Supermarket going is supporting more businesses that want to maybe open up a food truck, open up a restaurant. We have a lot down the street from our store. There's a couple blocks that's still in construction. We can take up to 7 food trucks once they're done, and they can just park there and start making money of their own. They don't need to have a brick and mortar just to start a business.
She's really benefited our agency, supports the agency like at every chance she can. There's no doubt in our minds that if we had questions, Peggy would be the place to start. We always start with Peggy when we have any questions about the communities that she represents and advocates for. And I had not known many community leaders in my role, and I knew that Peggy would be an ally for Mary Trelia, but also for me.
It goes beyond being just a businesswoman. I mean, she knows what businesses can do in the community and how it can affect those people's well-being and their outlook on their life in Iowa.
And when I first moved here, even as a newcomer, being a California native, I'm like, man, if I go to Siouxland, are there gonna be any Asians there? Little did I realize within the first 10 months that I was here, there was an Asian festival. I'm like, this is awesome. I can connect with people who have not only the values that I grew up with, but we actually look alike, and that goes a long way. And just coming together for a few hours on a hot Saturday in June to celebrate all that colorfulness, that diversity.
4 years ago, Peggy extended her reach from Siouxland to the rest of Iowa when Governor Kim Reynolds appointed her to the State Commission on the Status of Asian Pacific Islanders.
It is our responsibility as the commission in office to be a voice for the community statewide. And Peggy was so well positioned in Sioux City to give that rural voice for the Asian Pacific Islander community. She had a mentor, and that mentor was George Sayavong. He really paved the way for Peggy to start this journey on the commission, and she has picked up the mantle. I know it was one of her goals to make him proud, and when he passed away several years ago, it really devastated her, but that's when she became all in, and she found her voice, and she took leadership positions. She led events. She helped me organize events there.
Kiyu and Peggy find tranquility, companionship, and acceptance at the Chua Fu Moon Temple whenever they need respite from adversity.
When I go to the temple, I relax. I look like everything very tough for me, but they all gone. I don't think about too much.
More than a house of worship, the temple grounds their family and allows them to grow new roots and share their goodwill and good fortune. Mother and daughter, the epitome of grace and grit, always filling the space around them with warmth and comfort. This legacy will be expanded as Peggy prepares for the birth of her first child.
That bond between Peggy and her mom, Q, is very special. And I believe now that Peggy's going to be a mother soon herself, that she will instill those values and that drive that Q instilled in Peggy, and the choices that that little one has now that Peggy can build upon.
For their contribution to the business and cultural vitality of their community, as well as their commitment to nurturing a caring society that mitigates the daily struggles of newcomers to Iowa, Kiyu Lee Cheng and Peggy Law are the recipients of the 2020 Immigrant Spirit Award.
We thank you all for nominating us the award. We thank our Siouxland community making it our home. Thank you to our nominator. Thank you to everyone that's been involved in this process, and thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations once again to all the 2020 award recipients. This year has been a strange and difficult year for many, and your stories serve as inspiration for what can be achieved. If you know of someone whose story you think should be shared next year, please let us know about it. The link to our nomination will be made available. This concludes our award ceremony. Please give the award recipients another congratulations in the chat box. We will pass along your words to them. So as this event continues, remember that there is a giveaway happening for those who participate in the expo booth, as well as those who've been active in networking. I encourage you all to visit our exhibitors and to attend as many sessions as possible. There are a wealth of resources for you to watch and download. And if you haven't already, go watch the Underwriting Expo's business competition. We encouraged everyone to go to that session and vote in the People's Choice poll. Let us know which business you think should win the $5,000. You will see the winner announced at 5:30 p.m. Central Time today. And lastly, this event could not happen without your support. Please consider donating to support the Immigrant Entrepreneurs Summit for the next year to come and to help educate our immigrant communities to flourish in business. You can do this through this platform or at IESUSA.org. Thank you again for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the event.